spend another $3,000 a month on Uber Eats because sometimes you just crave something that's out there. It's usually like high quality food. In Miami, you have unlimited options. So let's say I want a Wagyu steak for lunch. I can have someone bring it to my house from a really nice restaurant. And that ends up usually costing $100 to $200 per order.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀 and I'm both a personal trainer and food educator. And the goal of my entire channel is to provide you with common sense solutions to eating healthy and living a healthy life without making it overwhelming or stressful or filling your head with a bunch of BS and lies. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about just how easy it is for people to start to go broke eating out, ordering DoorDash, Uber Eats, just basically making the worst financial decisions when it comes to something we all got to do, and that's simply eating food. It's not all doom and gloom. Stick around to the end of the video. I'll show you a simple way for cutting down your food costs without giving up some of the things you enjoy eating. Before we get into all that good stuff, just a little bit of business to get to. Hit the like button when you like what you see. And if you haven't done so, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. It'll cost you nothing and keeps you in the know for all the videos that I'll be dropping on my channel. And lastly, every Sunday, I send out a free email newsletter that is packed with simple health and fitness information. And if you want to get that delivered to you, just go down to the description, hit the link, and get signed up today. Enough chit chat. Let's get to our first video that simply goes through just how much a typical day out of eating is for one person.
This is how much I spent on food in a day in New York City. All right, I was running around Midtown today for a lot of different reasons, but first I stopped and I got a bagel and an oat milk latte. Now, obviously the oat milk's gonna add up a little bit of an extra charge, but with the coffee and the bagel together, it was a total of $19.75. Then a little bit later, I got lunch. It was just a wrap from this grab-and-go place, and honestly, it was just kind of average. And the wrap ended up being $9.99. It was just good, not great, you know? Then as I was heading out, I picked up a vitamin water, which ended up being $2.82. Then after my photo shoot, I went back to the same grab-and-go place to get a juice. I wanted one of those juices that had the vegetables in it, and I didn't realize how much this one would be. It ended up being $5.99, which is insane. I wanted something that was quick, easy, and would give me a little bit of energy. Then I stopped over at this pizza place because I was really craving a New York City slice, and I didn't get the chance to double check, but I'm pretty sure this one was $3.34, which I've actually had pizza for a lot cheaper here, so I'm surprised about that. But it was a classic New York City pizza, and I was enjoying it for a while, and then later it gave me a stomachache. Then on the way back, I stopped at a grocery store and I got some Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars, and of course, I got a bag of carrots because I love eating my 3 carrots. And the total of those two came out to $12.48. And the final total of all of that together is going to be $54.37.
$54 eating out for all of her meals in New York City. By itself, $54 probably doesn't sound astronomical. We're all dealing with this inflation, and it's very easy to get some not that expensive items that will add up over the course of the entire day to about $54. She didn't go to any extravagant restaurants. I mean, pizza in New York is incredibly inexpensive. Possibly the most overpriced item was what she started with, the bagel and the coffee beverage. That was like 20 bucks, but I mean, that's just, it is what it is nowadays. Thanks, inflation. But $54 in one day by itself might not seem like that much, right? Well, let's just say, hypothetically, because we really don't know what she does that all 5 days that she works, you know, Monday through Friday. So let's add up all the numbers for what she potentially would be spending in a week, in a month, and then in a year if she were to continue at this rate. $54 a day times a 5-day work week is about $270 at the end of the week. That's not where it ends. She does that 4 weeks a month. That's over $1,000 at the end of the month. You do that for 12 months out of the year, she's spending around $13,500 on eating out during the work week. That doesn't include what she does over the weekends or if she, you know, takes any trips or any of her other expenses. She's spending over $1,000 a month on food alone. Let that soak in, because if you are someone like her who's casually picking up your breakfast here, your lunch there, something quick for dinner, those little bits and purchases you're making might not really hit you that hard immediately. But doing that every day over the course of a week, a month, a year, and that is hundreds to thousands of dollars being spent that could have been spent better had you planned things out and done things a little bit differently. We just saw one woman's food costs in New York City for one day of eating out. Let's go check out our next video, which shows another woman showcasing her food costs during the course of the entire year from Uber Eats alone. Hit the like button. Let's move on to our next video.
I order Uber Eats every single day, multiple times a day. So let's see how much money I spent on Uber Eats this year so far.
With nails like that, I'm pretty certain this is going to be a very large number she spends. And we're only just through the month of September as per when this video posted on TikTok.
Okay, I just finished. And I just want to say I love the new calculator app features that lets you go to your history and see the last number that was in your calculator in case you lose count or mess up or hit the wrong button, which is perfect because I would have quit if it weren't for that new feature. The amount of money I spent on Uber Eats this year so far is really embarrassing. Don't judge me. It's just me. I live alone. Like, I'd rather do this than cook for myself every day. So, read it and weep. $8,054.34 on Uber Eats this year so far. And I'm about to order again right now, so.
I can't with this one. $8,054, and this video was posted in September, and so we'll say 9 months so far she spent over $8,000 on Uber Eats alone, a couple times a day. That's like $900-ish a month, a little better than what theoretically the lady in New York would spend. But let's be real here, $900 a month on Uber Eats is not a sustainable way to go. And she did not do herself a single favor admitting that it's just her, so don't judge her. No, I'm going to judge the hell out of you. You're wasting so much money because that wasn't $8,000 and some change in just food alone. I would imagine at least 40 to 60% of that total cost are the fees that come with Uber Eats and all those other food delivery companies. There's a delivery fee, there's the tax, there's the tip, there's just the app fee. There's all sorts of hidden fees in there that something that costs $15 had you taken your happy ass into the restaurant and order will balloon to $45 or maybe even $60 when it's all said and done. So she would potentially be saving a lot of money learning how to cook or do anything other than continue to order off of Uber Eats like it's just not a problem. And I stereotyped her based off her appearance, the makeup, the filter, the nails. Something tells me she spends a lot of money without realizing where it's all going. So this is something that seems to be working for her now, but I can only imagine that eventually it will not keep working like it is. This is pretty bad because spending over $8,000 in about 9 months through Uber Eats is astronomical. What if I told you I have a video where someone spends just about that much and maybe a little bit more in 1 month? Hit the like button. Let's go to this next video. This is some ridiculous spending on food.
Spend another $3,000 a month on Uber Eats because sometimes you just crave something that's out there. It's usually like high quality food. In Miami, you have unlimited options. So let's say I want a Wagyu steak for lunch. I can have someone bring it to my house from a really nice restaurant, and that ends up usually costing $100 to $200 per order. I don't know if any of you guys have been to Miami. We have some of the nicest restaurants in the world, but more than that, they're also really expensive. So it's not uncommon that you go to a restaurant and you spend $1,000 on dinner. That being said, every time we go out to dinner, it's $500 to $1,000. Breaks down to about $3,000 a month on nice dinner. So $2,400 for the chef, $3,000 on delivery Uber Eats, and another $3,000 a month on eating out nice dinners, which brings our food expense to $8,400 a month.
And he's actually proud of saying that fact too. $8,400 a month in total on food. Yeah, he kind of splits it up between about $3,000 on Uber Eats, which is insane. Another $3,000 on just eating out. So that's double insane because he doesn't count eating out on top of the Uber Eats. Those are two separate things he does. And thirdly, he has a chef come in for about $2,400 a month. That's a lot of food when you think about it. When he's ordering lunch, $100 to $200 lunch in Miami is the norm. And then he treats his business partners to dinner, or whoever he's going out with to dinner for another $1,000. What meal is the chef cooking? Like breakfast? Either way, the way this guy just inhales food, or collectively with the people he works with inhales food, is not sustainable. $8,400 a month on food costs alone translates to $100,800 a year just to feed himself and whomever he is feeding. I really hope whatever scam, hustle, business venture, content creation, OnlyFans, whatever the hell this guy does is a sustainable income stream for him. Because when you're hemorrhaging out 6 figures in food costs alone, man, there are a ton of ways of cutting that down drastically and still keeping your food very high quality, very nutritious, and still impressing people. But he's fallen into that trap of, I live in Miami, it's automatically an expensive city, so I gotta blow money on my food. Okay, cool. Do you, buddy? Even though you may not live in Miami, what kind of food things are you overspending on? Are you trying to impress your friends by going out to lunches you cannot afford? Or are you trying to keep up with the Joneses and go out to restaurants to take people on dates or to impress people that you work with for no reason other than that? And when the bill comes, you got to go into debt for it. And then after they've left you, all you're left with is a full belly and a massive credit card bill. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, getting caught up in this consumerism, thinking that you have to spend ridiculous money to get quality food and to feed yourself is just straight up wrong. You're playing yourself thinking that you have to dump $8,400 a month into feeding yourself in an expensive city. You can feed yourself very well in any city for a much less cost than that. But hey, you know what? I'm just somebody that's out here spitting common sense so that people cannot look stupid and go broke like this guy. But I kind of imagine that at this point you're wondering, what goes into the mindset of spending money like this guy and others do on food? Like, how can you justify spending $8,400 a month or even $8,000 over the course of a year on eating out, getting your food delivered, rather than making it yourself? I got a short video that is going to answer exactly that. And let me know in the comments if you agree with this or you can see the logic behind it. Also, hit that like button. We're almost through. Let's go to the short video.
Some people tell me I spend way too much money on getting my food delivered.
You do.
So I got it myself today. That took 30 minutes. Since my hourly rate is $150, technically I lost $75.
Okay. I see the math and the logic he is using, and I'm going to stand behind what I said of, yes, he is wasting a lot of money. Let's look at it like this. $2,000 each month on food delivery. If he's working 5 days a week, that's roughly 20 working days a month to do easy math. And so that means about $100 every day on food delivery. If he were to take what he spends in 1 week on food delivery, so roughly $500, and he went to the grocery store, he would be able to not just get food for his lunches, but also breakfast and dinner, and not just for 1 week, but easily for a month. You can get enough groceries for one single adult for $500. And this isn't some like bottom of the barrel, scraping the bargains, getting the most sketchiest generic stuff. You can get regular name brand food, good produce, meat, bread, dairy, eggs, all that stuff for roughly $500, and you're good for the entire month. Another way he can save money is, again, taking what he spends in 1 week, so again, $500, and sign up for a meal delivery service. Many meal delivery services offer prepared, healthy and balanced meals based off of you, your flavor choices, your overall health goals, and your body parameters for about $5 to $10 per meal. So if he gets a higher end meal delivery service to make his meals at $10 a meal, $500 translates to 50 meals, which is plenty for him for over a week to 2 weeks. And that's if he's eating those meals multiple times a day. if he's just using the meal prep service for his lunch, then he's got enough lunches for over a month. So yes, he is overspending because the money he sends for his delivery covers the delivery fees, the tip, the taxes, the app's charge a fee. There's a whole lot of extra that comes into getting your food delivered. So he's blindly just looking at it like, if it's delivered to me, I don't have to interrupt my work, so I'm saving money. My man, you are wasting more money than necessary. So if he doesn't want to prepare his own meals and go by going to the grocery store or even paying for a meal delivery service, and he still wants to eat out and get delivery, how can he cut his food costs down? I got a video that explains exactly how to do it, because if you're like him and you want to still have your food outsourced, this is the way to cut your costs down and to do it in a way that is realistic and sustainable. Keep watching, hit the like button. Let's go to the final video.
If you spend too much money eating out, here's how to handle it. First, let's take the usual advice. I gotta cut back on everything. Lattes, cheesecake, appetizers, candy, everything. And then you don't do any of it. And what do you do instead? You just feel guilty for the rest of your life. That doesn't work. And I don't want you to cut back on lattes. It doesn't even change your financial life anyway. Here's a much better strategy. Take your two biggest discretionary expenses. For most people, eating out is the number one. Take a look and let's just assume you spend $500 a month eating out. Easy math. I wouldn't try to go from 500 to zero overnight. That is a recipe for disaster. Instead, I would target a 30 to 50% reduction over the next 6 months. So next month it might be $475. Then it might be $450. It might go up the month after because you had somebody visiting from out of town. That's okay. But over time, by the end of 6 months, you're going to have hundreds of dollars of additional cash flow. That is money you can use to save, to invest, to pay off debt, or even just redirect to something else that is a much better part of your rich life. So don't feel guilty if you spend a little too much eating out. Just make a plan to sustainably cut your expenses, and then remember, use that money for something that's more important to you.
I love every bit of that advice he was giving because it solves many problems that we can have. He's specifically talking about overspending on going out to eat at restaurants and whatnot. And he gives a step-by-step way for you to slowly and gradually reduce the amount you are spending without depriving yourself. That is the same game plan that you can use when trying to, I don't know, eat less, or trying to drink less alcohol, or any behavior that you are trying to change, whether it is reducing down what you are doing or potentially adding more. Like if you're trying to add more exercise and more activity to what you're currently doing, instead of trying to go from $500 to $0 in food spending like he talked about, you're going to go from $500 to $475 to $450. Bottom line is you're doing it gradually and with structure. It's the same way that I would advise clients and anyone that wants to cut down on their body weight and eat less. Instead of trying to go on the most restrictive diet that promises you the biggest weight loss, you want to look at what you're currently doing and make small reductions in it, where you're making your portions a little smaller, you're making choices that are a little bit better, but you're giving yourself the grace to allow life to happen. Like he said, in the ideal world where you're dropping your food costs down, nothing will come in your way. But he indicated that maybe you have people in town or other things come up. So you go up a little bit, but you get right back onto it and go back down. It's the same way that I advise my clients. You have your eating strategy where you're trying to cut down on the junk food and the processed sugar, and you're trying to increase your protein and your vegetables. And yes, you're doing it great most days, but every now and then you might slip up. You don't want to stay in, woe is me, I'm having a pity party mode. No, you dust yourself off, you get up, and you get back on track. It's the same thing like he's saying. Yes, you may overspend here and there, but you have to get back onto your plan and continue with focus and intentionality. That's how any of this works. Whether you're trying to cut down on how much you spend eating out, or you're trying to cut down on how much you eat overall, or you're trying to eat more fruits and vegetables or eat more protein, whatever it is, you need a plan. You need to do it in a slow and gradual manner, and that plan needs to be based off what you are currently doing. We just watched videos of what people are currently doing when it comes to eating on a daily basis, a yearly basis, a monthly basis, and even the mindset that allows them to justify these choices. Now it is up to you. Look at what you are doing when it comes to going out to eat, getting food delivery, and basically just overspending on food. It has to start with looking at what you're currently doing and make adjustments based off that, and everything happens slow and steady. You didn't get to your current situation overnight, so don't delude yourself into thinking that you can correct your current situation overnight either. Let me know in the comments anything I messed up or any questions that you may have. I'd like to have a productive discussion with you or help you come up with a plan of how to adjust your eating, your spending, your whatever, so you can be the best version of yourself with the least amount of stress. In a moment, you're going to see another video preview popping up, this one talking about just how delusional it is to try to outwork a bad diet. Give it a watch, and I'll see you for the next one.